Yes, going live.
Boom. Why
Oh
does
yeah, baby.
the overlay does that weird shit every time?
Shee. That's more of a
She
shit.
shit. Welcome
What's up,
back,
Jenkins?
Jenkins Ave.
Nice
Not
to
gonna
see you.
gonna try as hard as we can not to dox you every time you're on the stream.
Yep.
Just Anyways, we're back. It is Fast Track Feedback Saturday,
Yep.
of course. And man, we need a new slogan.
Just like
Uh,
it's always been.
yeah. What about the stream that smiles back? Fast Track. That rhymes better than the goldfish one, man.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was McDonald's.
The
Yeah.
stream
Okay.
that
Cool.
smiles back. Fast Track.
Fast track. Yeah. There's a little jingle too. We are music, right?
Curry got the pinky up when he sips.
Mm.
It's because he's a fancy man. I only put
That's right, guys.
the
Get
ring
your money
finger
up.
up.
You could be like me. I'm just kidding. I got no money.
All right,
I
we
do
out
see myself.
here. We got 11. I think we again have 11, which just seems like a theme lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's better to have more music to review than less. So that's
Yeah,
good.
that's true. We've been at the opposite spectrum of that. So, thank you for submitting, everybody. I want to say that's my fault for moving the stream to Saturday. I had a little performance that I had scheduled right on top of the stream. So,
Well, as long as it's music related, it's all good.
yeah, I hope so. But we do got to get through this queue because it's getting longer and
Yes.
longer. So who
Yes.
we have on deck? We have Balenci Baby, Music by Div, Jokerhead, KVS, Seba, Quarhi, Zaug, Xeno Dubstep, Meadle, Pride by Dante, and Young Bindi. So that's 11 people. Crazy. So we definitely won't get through everybody. We get through like 5 or 6. I think our hard stop today is like 3:30. So if you guys want to get feedback now, right away, feel free to give us a tip, and then you'll skip the queue, and we can give it to you right away. Otherwise, we'll try to get, what we do is we try to get everybody who submits. So we'll be going in order of when they submitted, and that's that order I listen to. So
Yes, sir.
uh, if nobody is doing it, we could go to the first song. I also just want to say shout out Jake and Zaf. Appreciate you.
Shout
Um,
out.
and yeah, tip. Thank you. He's our marketer. Wait a
Yes.
minute, Bentayga, didn't we do this?
Did we?
We did.
Oh,
I
did he
remember. It's the
submit it
theme song,
twice?
possibly.
Oh, you're right, because that's the original title is "Sip My Drank."
Yeah. And now it's Bentayga.
Yeah, we did do that one.
All right, I'll mark it orange. All right, guys, 10. Crazy. We'll
Look how
see.
fast that happens.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's right, guys. You never know. It could be enough room. But we'll go to the next person. I think it's music by Div.
Yes.
But no, wait. I feel like we did this too.
Really?
This was this was
Hold
the
up.
Drake type. Maybe we
What the
just suck
fuck?
at marking our shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's on Spotify.
Damn. All right. Did we do Jokerhead?
I need a minute. Yeah, we did this one. Okay.
Okay, guys. We are.
Jokerhead, I don't think we did.
Yeah, we are burning through the queue right now. If this keeps up, then you guys will be able to get it right away. I don't think we did Jokerhead. I do remember this
No, we definitely didn't.
cover art, but this could be a new version. Um, okay, so Jokerhead, shout out Jokerhead, friends of the stream. Song title is Retrospect. It's a work in progress, and the description says dissected the other track and work on a structure that's more balanced. Don't hold back as usual. I hope I can tune in this time. Uh, great to
Probably
see
not
you.
this time.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. Uh, great to see you get more feedback. I don't know what that means.
More feedbackers. People want feedback.
Feedbackers. Oh, okay. I see. Um, yeah, thanks, so good.
Hey, and Dom Rocks in the chat. Welcome back.
Yeah, another friend of the stream.
We got the
Everybody.
squad here, even though it's this weird Saturday time.
I'm only trying to tip to caress Curry's beard. Hey, yo. All right, I'm with it.
That is not a
Whatever.
service that is offered, or maybe it is.
I don't know. It depends.
Wouldn't be a bad way to make a buck.
Gotta try it, right? My
Yeah.
girlfriend might not like it, but how are we? I am good. How are you, Dumb Rocks? Staying busy on a Saturday, sipping my LaCroix. All right.
Yep.
Anyways,
Spiked. It spiked. Be honest.
is it spiked? No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Good
yet,
answer.
sir. Dude, maybe I do. It's already 2 p.m. Frat boys are getting it. All right. Anyways, let's do this. Retrospect. You ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
3, 2,
Wait,
1.
no, I'm not. I'm not ready.
Damn, bro. Gonna
Actually,
lie.
yes, yes, I am. I forgot that I had it
3.
open.
Ready?
Yep.
Ah, shit, it's already playing. 3, 2.
Just go.
Saturday morning, guys. Give us some credit here.
Oh,
Getting some
damn.
coffee.
Dom is up at 6 a.m. on a. It's probably Sunday there, right?
Sheesh. Gonna be me. Maybe me at my best.
Is it Sunday?
Ooh.
Where do you live, Dom Rocks? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
tell us
Sunday.
your address.
Whoa.
Nice full base here.
Yeah.
I feel like his fullness is better here. Like that song. What that
Interesting melody there.
right. I like the arrangement choice having a build there, but I think could have been executed a little better.
That chromatic melody is sort of works, but half the notes are technically not in scale. A lot of highs on that hi-hat.
I do like
Yeah, that bass is really nice. But those dissonances are still so weird.
like in the high end.
No, you're a couple seconds ahead. Like that.
Go. Retrospect. Second edit. Jokerhead.
Hmm,
Appreciate you.
interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. Glad to
So
hear
what were you
everyone.
saying? You said chromatics or
Yeah, there's one part where it's just going do 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 or something like that. It might even be
yeah.
different notes, but like the first note is in key and the second note is not. And it's like you can have like it's called a passing note or a passing chord or a passing tone, whatever, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to do those things. It's just if you hang on them for too long and they don't have enough context, like chordal context,
Yep.
it can sound weird because it's not in the key, right? It's like
Yep.
when a singer is just singing in the wrong key.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, a couple of those are like again, I like the idea. It's almost like conspiracy theories. Like
Yeah.
oftentimes there's no, I mean like there's often like a suspicion that something is off and the suspicion is correct,
Yep.
but the conclusions aren't.
Mm.
And it's like that's how I think about when people kind of approach dissonance in a way that's not completely informed, I guess you could say, is like you want to do something that's right. It could be really cool to do something dissonant and weird there that's not like in the key.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you sort of just go blindly at that, you're not always going to end up with something that actually sounds good.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, you're on the right path, it's just like try a couple different options and see what sounds best. Or if you can't hear it, like get feedback from somebody that can, because it it all boils down to like you can either hear something consciously and identify it and fix
Mhm.
it, or you can't. But people either your listeners either can identify it or they'll just hear it and subconsciously like dislike it or know that something's wrong.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's sometimes it can be hard to say like on your own stuff, this is not, how the best it could be. Um, because there's this sort of subjectivity of like some people are gonna, be more affected by it than others or be more aware of the issue.
Mhm. Mhm.
But you want to try to get to the point where most people who listen to it aren't going to have an adverse reaction.
Yep. Yep. I do
Um,
want to say I hear what he's saying, and I think you have moments where it works, like where you do stuff that's out of the key
yeah,
that
there are
like
moments where
works.
it does.
Yeah, like there's a specific like boo doo 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 doo, like it was like a bass like
Yeah, that's cool.
walk down chromatic. That was
Yeah,
nice, and that's
totally.
what he was saying too. It's like it wasn't there for too long, you know. It's like a transition kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, there's some melodies in there. There's it's specifically
Sorry, I was trying to find it.
126. There's like a background melody that was just like, um, "You really look like a John Screw me." Anyways, there's a background melody that was just like kind of all over the place, and
Hmm.
during the buildup, I want to be guided towards like the drop, but it was just kind of like, I was like, "What's happening?" So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Sure.
anyways, we do have a structure, so maybe we go kind of vibes. Vibes is deep, dark. This is like um, I always get the nighttime kind of motorcycle in a city, almost like Akita vibes, I guess, uh, and like Hotline Miami or whatever. I always get that vibe with this kind of genre. What is this called? I always forget it. Carpenter Brute type beat. I
Mm.
don't know what it's called. I forgot it. Synth pop maybe. But yeah, I think he nails it here. I think the bass is so full and it gives that mix like that kind of feeling of dark and or for Hotline Miami it's like serial killer type stuff. So even the notes feel kind of minor and dark as well. So I think he hits that vibe. But yeah, there are some stuff that is just a little bit off comparative uh, to like just musically pleasing chord progressions or melodies or anything like that. So
It's really just the
it
only thing I
detracts
heard
the
is
vibes.
is the melodies. It's like it's a small thing. You just fix the
Right.
notes. It's not like it's a huge deal to modify that.
That's true. I think so too. I think that in the past, Jokerhead has had struggling with he's kind of with melodies, main melodies, and um, I think with what is it, structure of the song, like arrangement. But
Hmm.
I like every like he put like a build up here, even though like
Yep.
the build up melody could have been better. I liked where it was, and
Yep.
everything else that was happening was great. And like the drop happened, and it was great. That nice arpeggiated chord, two chord kind of thing was nice to listen to, and it filled out the mix. It's just now it's just those synths like actually make that those melodies kind of pleasant to the ear and hopefully earwormy so that we want to keep listening to it over and over
Yep.
again. Synthwave, that's probably the correct word.
Yeah. Synthwave.
Thank you. Is it in the fucking in his tags? I don't know. I'll have to see.
I know
But yeah, so overall I'm at like 75 green between green and yellow.
for
I
vibe.
think I think he knows what he's going for, but there is a couple things that kind of be like, ooh, that sounds like a wrong note. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jokerhead. I started with this one gripe about melody, which I think it stuck out pretty far. It was pretty obvious. But I was really thinking overall, this feels like a pretty good amount of growth on I think the previous stuff that we've heard from you. Like I just felt
Mhm.
like the bass sounds throughout are really really fucking good, and
Mhm.
that is like the start of having a great sonic foundation for your song.
Drums too.
Yeah, and the drums too. I will say that snare, I think we've heard it in your stuff before.
It's
Like it
classic synthwave.
maybe in all of it, like in a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And I like the sort of timbre, but it does feel very kind of I don't know if it feels especially well integrated to the song, meaning the bass is really thick and fat, and I just felt like the snare uh feels like it's a little bit bandpassed more so than the other parts. Like it's a little bit narrower, a little bit more mid forward. Just doesn't sound like I wanted it to be a little bit rounder, a little bit wider, a little bit thicker sounding, a little bit bassier. so that it can really gel with the bass and not sound like it's two separate things from different sources, that are not in the same world. Um, but and I also just it's like not a snare that has seems to have any randomness to it, where like if you have like a sample pack, like some of them will slightly change the layering of the different snare samples so that it sounds a little bit more organic every time it's hit. And this doesn't sound like that. It sounds like a one shot type thing where it's just very kind of cold, or like it's exactly the same each time, and it's kind of gated at the end. And I just feel like gated snares are fine, but it's the combination kind of the sameness each time, as well as the way that it's kind of filtered differently than the rest of the track. Just want it to sound a little bit more natural with its surroundings. So, and that's again a small thing, but I really think that, like Chris said, your arrangement is really good here. Things flow in a way that keeps it engaging. It doesn't go on for too long. I mean, it's almost 4 minutes, but it really does keep you going. And again, that you're sonically getting there as well with your bass is starting to make things sound fuller and more professional. Now it's just like that's perfect. Now go on to the other instruments and make sure that they line up well with that. And I like the snare, but I know that with that kind of sound, you can get something way fatter with a little bit of layering or a little bit of different EQ or compression or whatever.
Mhm.
And it would be like sick if that snare sounded like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think vibes. I would probably give this also a 75. I would say.
Mhm. Mhm. Content. I touched on the arrangement kind of in my vibes overall kind of review, and yeah, I think it all works. I didn't get bored. Good structure. Build up is where it needs to be. It just also a content point. Like the melody, I think is the only thing that I really think is lacking here. If just all you got to do is just find out what key you're in and just play around with it, and then see um, like what melody fits your song the most. I don't know. I was gonna say something like just solo around on the pentatonic scale for a little bit, but I don't know if it's different for a minor key. Maybe Josh knows, but yeah,
Minor
just like
pentatonic.
yeah, just play around on the minor pentonic and see anything that sounds cool, and then um, after that, after you have like a skeletal melody of that, then you could be like, oh, I can include these accidentals that are transitionary, kind of like what you do with those bass walk downs that are chromatic in nature. Um, then you could do some weird like melodic stuff there, but try to
Yeah,
get something that's like got a good foundation in terms of melody. That one makes us actually listen to it.
I think also one of the things that separates sort of professional melodies from kind of amateur ones is like if it just feels like you're kind of like walking or wandering around with the melody sort of
Mhm,
aimlessly, like that's obviously like not a great thing.
mhm,
But professional melodies are really good at one, sort of having this more abstract, like storytelling ish structure where it
mhm,
feels like there's it's like the way that you talk in phrases, right? You don't just drone on talking at the same pace for forever, and then you keep going, and then you keep talking, and then it never stops, right? That's not how it works. If
mhm,
you listen to the way I'm speaking now normally, you speak a little bit and there's a pattern to it, and then you pause. And if your melody is just walking around, there's none of those sort of pauses or space between the phrases, you're fucked. So it's like you got to have think about it in phrases first of all, but also think about motifs. Like,
mhm,
is there like a do 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 do
mhm,
do 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 that you can do? Like, that's a cool kind of melody there because
mhm,
it's like the same shape, but it's repeated and it has the phrase element, right? It's like a pocket and then another one and then another one, and you move around this shape, and you can do that. It doesn't have to be in a row in your melody, but it can be like one stanza is like this shape, and then the
mhm,
next is a different one, and then it oscillates between the two, and that's again like one of the great melody writing strategies. But yeah, just thinking about that, like when you're making melodies, to try to be intentional and sort of take as much influence as you can from other professional songs and also from just human speech. That can make a big difference for making a good melody. You'd be surprised.
hmm.
So
I feel
um,
like the stuff that you sang actually went with the bass line that he had too. So
maybe
literally record that
steal
shit,
that.
Jughead.
Yeah,
Find that out. Yeah, that is
just
all
sample what
yours.
I did, quantize it, and you're good.
Yeah, royalty free.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, actually, pay up, please.
yeah, actually. But what's up, Arrow? Nice to see you.
What
Thank you
up?
for the first time chat. If you want to
Love the
submit,
username.
let us know. 69. Yes, sir,
Not one,
sir.
but two 69s. It can't get better than that.
Yes, sir. You can't. No misunderstandings here.
But anyways, that's kind of, I guess, content stuff. I already talked about, like, I think your arrangement is good and everything. It's just really melody writing at this point. So,
Mhm.
did you give a score for content?
Um, I think it's pretty much the same for me. I think I liked a lot of it. Like I said, the bass was full. Drums sounded pretty good, although I do agree with Josh's kind of uh, critique of the snare being a little bit stale over time. Um, and arrangement looks good. So the only thing lacking for me is the melody. It's an important part, but it's pretty solid. So I'm at 75 as well between
Yeah,
good and low.
yeah. I was gonna
Yeah,
say the same.
there you go. Production. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you're making strides in production. I think this sounds better than a lot of your stuff, although it's been continually getting better.
Mhm,
Really, it's just I just wanted that snare to sound a little bit thicker because the bass sounds so thick. It just they feel a little bit separate to me.
mhm.
Um, and maybe some of those melody parts were also a little bit too present or too loud at some points.
What's
Um,
up, Echo? Sorry.
just making sure that those melody lines sound again like well integrated and not like they're in front of everything. Um, and just tonally, like, you don't want to make them too obnoxious. Basically, like, don't have too many effects on those. Make it subtle with the effect usage and with the usage of distortion and saturation. Because if your whole track sounds very smooth and round again with that big bass, and then this lead comes in that's a little too loud and it's very like distorted or whatever, got a lot of effects on it, it's just a little bit overbearing. So again, it's all about balance with all this
Mm,
stuff. So
mm,
yeah, I don't really have a whole lot other than that for production. I think it's overall a pretty well-rounded mix.
mhm.
Um, I will give it an 80% for production.
Yeah, I think I can agree with all those points. Um, the only thing for it's for me, it's that drop off and that build up. The synth. Um,
Where is this?
like one 125 to, let's see, to 149, like that build up. There's like a main melody. I think it's supposed to be a main melody. Um,
The
it
do 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 that
No,
thing?
no, 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 no. That's fine. That's fine. Um, there's like a do do do, like it's in the background, and I feel like that's like what the buildup is supposed to be like referencing and building off of. Like that's something that's different compared to like all the other parts of the song,
Oh.
and it's just like in the back,
Oh,
and
oh,
I
oh,
feel
yeah,
like
that
that's
melody is problematic.
yeah, 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 and
It's at
like
like
melody,
135.
right, and like melody, but like also the way it's produced, like it's the only different part. I feel like I should focus on it because it's, like, in the higher register,
Right,
but it's
right.
quiet and it's in the back. So
Yeah. I mean, it could be interesting if it wasn't so dissonant.
yeah,
It's fine to have
exactly.
some dissonance, but it just takes a little too far, and it's like, you guys wanna listen to this.
Well, what I'm saying is once you fix the melody, because that's the higher register, then, like, make sure
It
that
is
it
too far back in the mix and too wet,
right.
for sure.
Make sure that it's up front and, like, we can hear it, and that's the focus, but, yeah, it's the only thing I wanted to add on top of what Josh said, so production, it's otherwise really solid. I think 85 is where I'm at, green to
Oh,
yellow.
by the way, there was one point I remembered. There's just a couple points with cymbals and hi-hats and stuff that are a little bit on the edge of piercing. There was one in particular somewhere in this end region.
Mm,
Just be careful of those. And like again, when your bass comes in, it's just kind of that. It sounds really well rounded, but I still feel like a lot of the elements are clashing a little bit. When you have the more stuff you have, the more clashing there is. So it's
mm.
like either try to keep it simpler, and again that goes with processing as well, or mix everything to not be in the exact same frequency range, or at least not to be so bright.
Yep, that's true. Um, I think it's definitely better than his previous mixes, and
Yeah, for sure.
like it's
Absolutely.
almost undetectable, but it's there.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
cool. So overall, I'm at like 80 between green and yellow. Good stuff, Jokerhead. What
Dope.
about you?
Yeah, no, I think I would say the same. Maybe 75 to 80.
That
It's
sounds right.
yeah, it's
77.
got a lot of potential. It's just it is important to clean up those melodies
Oh
and
yeah,
a couple of those production things. But
for
yeah,
sure.
it's on a good track.
Echo says, "Doing great, man. That's good. Finally finished my project. Whoa, crazy. Got visuals
So
too for your entertainment.
hell
Oh, that's
yeah.
dope. Did you looks like Dom Rock submitted and it says back on my bullshit. I don't know. Did you submit to us? Let us know, Echo.
Let us
Uh,
know. And Dom, thank you for your donation, which means you're up
sheesh.
next.
Damn, Dom. Appreciate you.
And we just
Yeah,
got
so
Echo your submission.
oh, crazy. Okay, cool. So I
So
just wanted to say, oh yeah,
Echo,
you're gonna.
yeah, you will. We're gonna do Dom's because he donated to our tip link, and otherwise we have like nine, we have like nine other submissions,
Yeah,
which means we won't get to yours today. But if you want to send us a tip to the link that we just sent in the chat, then you will be up right after Dom. So let us know if you want to do that. $5 minimum, and yeah, let us know.
yeah. It's
But
our way
otherwise,
of
you'll be up like next week or maybe after
yeah.
that.
It's our way of fulfilling the promises that anybody that submits will get to your song eventually. But if
Yes.
the people need it right now, or if they just want to hear their song right now when they're here in the stream, um, to skip the queue, to skip everybody else, just give us a little tip and we'll do so.
Yes.
But yeah, otherwise, sit back and enjoy the show and we'll get to you eventually.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, there was a time when we didn't have this queue, but now we
But
do.
now it's in demand.
Yeah, it's crazy. We P2W in this motherfucker. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Pay to win, man. In 2 weeks, I'll be on something else. Haha. True. I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
All right. So, Dom Rocks, that's what we're doing right now, right?
Yes. And um, let's see. I want to make sure this is correct. Echo. Does your first name start with a B?
Uh oh.
I don't want to dox you. I
Oh.
just want to make sure.
Oh, shit. Did he
It
possibly give
does.
some money back?
Hey, we got it. Yeah, he donated.
Oh, crazy Echo.
Sick.
That's
All right.
dope.
So you'll be
Appreciate
up
you.
next after Dom.
All right. Let's do some Dom Rocks then. I'm
Let's do
excited.
it.
All right. So, what does he say? Ritual finish? No. Mathematics, excuse me. Work in progress. Back on my bullshit. Ayo, we love the bullshit here. And then,
Hmm.
yeah. All right. You ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Mathematics, Dom Rocks. Let us know what you, if you want us to listen to anything in particular, but we'll do our general review of it. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, let's go.
So different.
Love the artwork along with this. So ethereal.
Right.
Interesting dissonance there.
Some noise getting in there.
When I was younger, I'd fight my hunger, obsessed
Slap
with
bass?
numbers, calculate my
Like through an auto log or something.
long division inside my vision, bred to compete till I'm depleted. Was it mathematics or something tragic? Wasted time or magic, meaning in the static. Stick to mathematics, don't do anything drastic. It's making me erratic, tears in the fabric.
Nice.
Temper,
Got that like bass from the butterfly.
slow burning ember.
Like that
Struggle with your time. Wouldn't you rather unwind? When I was younger, I'd fight my hunger, obsessed with numbers, calculate my summers, long division inside my vision, bred to compete till I'm depleted. Was it mathematics or something tragic? Wasting time or magic, meaning in the static. Stick to
man, his endings are cool.
Yeah, it was a cool ending.
Yeah. All
Damn.
right. That was crazy. That was like I feel like that'd be at like Woodstock or something.
I think
For some
Echo's
reason.
comment that is hella
Very hippie.
unique is correct.
Hella unique. Crazy my guy. Yeah, I agree. Dom Rocks kind of is that guy.
Yeah.
Every time it's like, what the fuck is this? It's like a whole completely new sound. He could be like 8 different artists in one. But
Yeah, for real. Crazy
um,
range.
but yeah, that was Dom Rocks. Josh, what do you have for your first impressions and such for
Man, I
vibe?
mean, I sort of feel like this is one where it's obvious that the artistry and the music side, the musician side of it, right? Like the playing like parts and all of that stuff is really unique and special. And I feel like there's a really cool song in here that again is very unique, but I sort of feel like I have to see through the mix a little bit or like
Yep.
see through the production to try to get to that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to basically imagine what this would sound like with a sort of another level of production and mixing and mastering.
Yep.
Um, and in this case, like I mean, I think all of the playing is good. It's
Hmm.
just there's a few things like mixing related that we could probably address.
Hmm.
But overall, I mean, just for vibes, this is fucking sick. And there's some really there's some really cool rhymes in there. What was it like? It's just mathematics, something mathematics and tragic.
Something that's tragic. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good rhyme.
Yeah. It showed up a couple times. I the first time I don't know if you changed it up at all, but I accidentally stepped on my cord and then everything unplugged.
That
So I might have missed it, but
was part of the
um
song, dude.
fuck dude. Crazy musical journey.
Yeah,
That's storytelling. But
exactly.
I agree with that point on like the mix felt like there's like a shroud of like almost like a filter on everything.
I think the
Um
main thing is that there's either like some sort of pad going on in the background throughout most of it that's just a little bit too like again kind of wet.
Clashy with everything.
Whether it's like it being reverbed up or that it's just one of those pads that kind of has no definition to it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's kind of the or it could again be the mixing if like there's something like that that's like pushed into the background, and
Hmm.
so we're kind of struggling to hear what chords are. I was struggling a little bit to hear what chords were happening, even though I think most of it was just on the one.
Hmm.
Maybe if it had a more consistent bass line that was
Hmm.
just playing that fundamental the whole time, it would have been more obvious. But
Hmm.
also, it could be if you're kind of playing around again, like ambience, that can be a hard thing to nail without really clouding things up.
Yep.
Like to get texture is a matter of having the right timbre of the instruments that you use, as well as playing the right notes and chords. And it can be easy to try to like we have this vision of like you should just play a lot of notes and like high up and stuff, whatever, and make weird dissonances to make texture and ambience. But sometimes it can start to work against itself, I think, at a certain point. Um, and I don't know.
This
I
guy,
just he says he likes washiness in his tracks,
that's
and
kind of I mean, that's exactly what I heard.
yeah, I would agree. I
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I just feel like listening to this, I want,
I
uh,
think it's too washy as well.
yeah, I want more
I think it's a
definition.
point. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening. Like the, for example, like I'm a drummer. I love the. I feel like the drum beat's kind of cool. It
It is
reminds me
cool,
of like an
yeah.
old sample. I forgot that classic drum beat that's used a lot, but like the
Oh,
Matrix song uses it all the time. It's like
hmm.
doo, 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 tsk, tsk, doo, doo, k, right, and it like cuts through the mix. But with yours, I could tell that it's cool. It might be. I don't know if it's a sample, or if it's real.
I think he probably
I think
played
it's.
it, or didn't he say he
I
was?
think it's E drums, if I remember him
Yeah, yeah, it
correctly.
might be, which sounds
I
good for that.
Yeah, sample, CC.
That's crazy, man.
But I want it to cut through the mix, and, like, I hear, like, very cool guitar parts happening and you're shredding. I wanna hear that clearly when it's time to listen to it, you know? Um, I would actually agree with the vocal part that it could stay washy. I kinda like how it's mixed here because,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't change your melody, like, barely at all, so it's just kind of there, I feel like, as a background thing, and where the main thing to focus on is your instrumentation. And so I think that's fine if that's washed out, but the stuff that I feel like should cut through the mix, like drums, I feel like always,
yeah.
um, and the kind of solo stuff that you're playing on, I'd like it to cut through a little bit more. Washed out uh kind of feeling, and I get the feeling of like a 70s kind of mix with like a washed out tie dye in fucking Woodstock. Like if you're going
Yeah.
for, I think it's on the way
I
and
think this is a
for
step
art. That's
further
it.
than that stuff even though.
It is a step further. Yeah, exactly. It's like too washed out, you know? Um, so that's where I think both of us are coming from. Um, but yeah, what's up, Gunderland? Looks like he found out the submit link. But yeah, so that's the kind of overall vibes that I'm getting from it. Like I said, 70s hippie stoner, smoke some weed, maybe do LSD or whatever at Woodstock. Um, like the tie dye's there, but it's just a little too washed out. So
Yeah.
maybe scale it back a little bit. But love the stuff that's going on. Very entertaining, very unique. Um, but yeah, so overall, I think my vibes, most of it's going to be production, um, but it might be easy to fix. I'd say 85 between green and yellow. What's up? So I thought, what do you have?
What up? Yeah, for vibes, I mean, again, I'm just thinking about this sort of debate of like washiness versus definition, and also like if you're trying to emulate the 70s or something.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, when I think of a lot of that stuff, there is, I think, more definition to the drums. And again, like pinning down the sort of foundation of the song to make sure, okay, like that's fine. I'm not trying to emulate anything, but I just mean making sure that you have a solid foundation for things to rest on top of. You can get as washy as you want with all those elements, like your vocals could be even more so, perhaps.
Mhm,
And I did feel a little bit like everything was so kind of like mushy or like washy
mhm,
underneath your vocals that the vocals I think at some point stood out a little bit too much.
hmm,
And I again think that they could be more, like I said, well integrated with the rest of the track and the things that are happening around them and not feel like they're, you know, like sticking out from the mix or like we can hear any of the amateurness of any recording stuff. Like it's good to
mhm,
mask those rare points.
mhm,
But just having a solid kick. It doesn't have to be like a thick fucking fat kick, but just like
mhm,
something that gives us that rhythmic post, right?
mhm,
And a bass that has. I like using auto wah, right? It's fun. It can sound cool in a bass, but I think it was a little bit too sort of insect sounding, right? Like when you go to a certain level of Q factor or whatever it is, it starts to sound like a little, like too like splashy or like you know what I mean? It's there's a little bit of a weird sound when you get really auto wah on a bass, and you actually lose the bass part of it too.
mhm.
It becomes a lot of this wah 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 stuff, and not the boo boo boo, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You could maybe do some parallel processing to get
yeah,
both a little bit, but
yeah,
I think there's a little bit of a weirdness that you get when the wah, like the Q is too hard or whatever it is.
yeah.
And
You get some weird
there's a
resonance.
sweet spot for the coolness, like a really good sounding auto wad,
Yeah,
bass or guitar or
I think
anything.
parallel processing is a great idea for that. And
It could, but it's
uh,
also like the tonality that you get when the cue isn't set quite right on Ottawa, it's
yeah,
not gonna be solved by just the parallel processing. So it's both like the tonality of it, but also making sure you have that bottom end, the fundamental.
that's what I'm saying. Like, ideally, if it's in parallel, the kind of dry mix has that bottom end because that's what I'm missing in the kick. Like I was just listening to it again in the kick drum and like the bass line, and I love how the bass line is kind of like wow wow wow, wow. Like it's cool.
It's cool, yeah.
Reminds me of, like I said, to Pimp a Butterfly. Like he does a lot of weird um, bass stuff, Ottawa stuff, and it sounds awesome. I just want it to have that low end. We here at Fast Track love low end, and Dom, I I don't think these mix suggestions that we have are like huge changes. I think this
Yeah,
is like just dial it back a little bit. And it's at the end of the day, it's our preference, but what we want to hear is like stuff cut through the mix.
yeah.
Ideally, that's what you want too. Um, but
I
yeah,
al I also think just conceptually, like, when you think about how people perceive different sort of frequency balances in music or the world, the environment around you, if something has no low end, it's likely very far away.
Mhm,
And it doesn't sound like you're as involved in it, right? It sounds like it's over there, or and also I think the mix is it's probably not mastered, but it's a little bit quiet. I had to
mhm,
turn up a lot to sort of get the what's the word, immersiveness.
mhm, mhm,
But when you have a thicker, fuller bass, it doesn't need to be super punchy, but it does need to be there, right? Balance wise, it sounds more like you're enveloped in it. And it makes it, again, more of this immersive psychedelic effect. And that's why I think you can get an even more psychedelic sort of vibe with modern mixing techniques, with like, again, the amount that we can really hone in on side chaining stuff, and um, the way that we can use space and panning, and it's easier to mix bass to be fuller these days than it used to be. In
Mhm,
short, I feel like that would make it more immersive and really actually feed the vibe of
mhm,
psychedelic sort of immersion. You know,
mhm. Yep. But I think we were on vibes for a while. I gave my
it's
score of
everything.
80. I don't know if you gave a score for vibes.
I think I would say the same. Yeah,
And then content.
content. I mean, the writing is really cool, and the playing is awesome as well.
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints there. I think there's like an awesome fucking song underneath here that most people cannot do,
Yeah.
right? The content, I would just give it like
Straight up green.
green. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm at too. There's just and like what he said there's a cool song under there. Under what?
yeah.
Underwater because it's too washed out.
Behind the screen of like doesn't feel immersive. Feels like it's
Yeah,
sort
it's
of,
like there's like a haze over it. All
yeah.
that weed smoke. But anyways.
And that's kind of like the pattern of like when you start out with recorded content or sampled content or whatever, and you move towards a fully mixed song. Generally, you start with something that's kind of muddy, or like, there's clashing, it's not well defined,
Mhm,
and your goal is to approach the point where the instruments can be discerned. That it doesn't mean they have to be separate and far away from each other. They can meld together, but it's nice if we're not confused as to what's happening, um, and like making sure that there aren't like dissonances and clashing, right? Like eliminating as much bad clashing as you want. It's good, it can be good to have dissonances and seventh chords and stuff like that, and with some of your spatial elements. But it's like finding that balance where it's a removal process, right?
mhm,
Mixing, you're usually removing dissonances, removing clashing, removing washiness, not entirely, but
mhm,
you're trying to create the effect rather than just expect that it's going to happen. Like, ideologically, if you don't mix the song, it's going to be really washy, and you're trying to achieve washy. Oh, there's better ways to achieve that sort of qualia that you're thinking of, which, you want to just be intentional, I think, about making sure things are heard, and like doing the mixing, and again, having the foundation be there, especially in the percussive elements, including bass.
mhm.
So, yeah. Did you give us? Oh, yeah, yours is green for content, but I
Yep.
guess just, yeah. That's the production stuff. We talked about it, I
Mhm.
think, pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to hear what this sounds like if you do more mixing on it and mastering.
Right, right. Me too. Yeah, I think the content's fantastic. I think production is the only thing where I think it needs work.
Hmm.
And like I said, I think I completely agree with his intention of because I think his intention is there of I want it to be washy. I think it would sound good, having that kind of sound.
Yeah.
I agree. It's just I think it's kind of scaled back, and there's like um, a subtler way to do it. I feel like oftentimes it's like, oh, I want to make this decision of I
Yeah.
want to make it washy. So then you go overboard to like
Yeah.
ensure that it's washy. But
That's
a
the
lot of the
thing.
times
Like,
it's like subtle.
it's
So
so hard to. We talked about this before, but there's very often a counterintuitiveness to achieving the desired effect that you want in making music or mixing, right? Like, you have an idea in your head that you want the bass to be really thick. A lot
mm,
of people will just go and turn the bass fader as high as they can before it starts clipping,
mm.
right? And it's, I'm not saying like, okay, we know you didn't go into it with an agenda, but you may have like a sort of stylistic
Thank
intent,
you.
and it can be really easy to, keep testing the limits of that, and then you sort of go over the limit, and then perception changes the more that you listen to something, and now
Mm,
you're sort of in your own world that is not the same as the world of the people who will hear your song fresh.
mhm.
That's the big reason why we think feedback is useful, because it's like, we
Yeah.
know that when you work on a project for a long time, you totally don't have an even accurate perspective on it anymore,
Mhm,
because you've just spent way too much time with it relative to people who are just finding it on Spotify or your page or whatever. It's a different
mm,
experience when you're hearing something for the first time, which is why, like, finding ways to cleanse your palate and not overdo it when you're mixing is so important. Like
Mm,
if you're mixing and you're going in circles, you realize you're turning a fader down, 0.2 dB and then back up and then the other way. And then you're like making this change and that change. Like you have to have the ability to step away. Like seriously, when that happens, the longer you stay in it, it's like sometimes you do damage, but
mm,
you have to just like step away for a little bit and come back. Even if it's like 15 minutes, it'll make a huge difference.
yeah.
And sprinkling in reference listening, because you will totally lose perspective as to what real music sounds like.
Hmm.
If you are just in your own stuff for too long, you have to listen to stuff that's out there because that's what people are listening alongside your
Mm,
stuff to, and that's what determines like often if somebody is gonna follow you and add the song to playlist and keep listening to you, and
that's true.
maybe you might have a shot at having a career in music. Like it's the sum total of all those actions, and the source, the fuel for this is ultimately the quality and consistency of your output, right?
Yeah.
So it's so important to do all of the reference stuff and the perspective checking.
Yeah. Yeah, Dom, I didn't mean to like mischaracterize you or whatever. I was just saying like, oh, you said earlier I like my stuff to have washiness. So I was like, oh, okay, he likes his stuff to have washiness. I don't think you come in with an agenda to say
No,
like no matter what I'm gonna make it washy, but
and it's
I'm just
just how.
saying like if you're going for something that's washy, I agree with that design choice, but I think it was overdone. That's what I'm saying. Um, and thank you, Echo. I appreciate it. Trying to grow out the hair, huh? But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a haircut. But anyways, my production score. I think that's the biggest thing that needs work on this track, and I think it's pretty subtle. Um, and I think I'm at maybe 60% between green and yellow. And I
Bro,
think Josh's what?
we got mind reading, man. I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think Josh's point was like, because Dom, you always say like, I'm not trying to emulate anything or whatever, and that might be that might be true. Like you're just a super artist. Like I hear all the unique shit that you do, um, but it comes from the other perspective of us as listeners. What do we listen to? Like what are we going to be on Spotify or whatever? Blah blah blah. And then
Yeah,
your song comes up, right? And then it's like just very drastically different mixed, and
and people can
maybe
tell,
it's
like,
even our bias of like, oh, we think it's too washy,
yeah,
right? Even though we like the choice of it and like we're trying to give you feedback, it's like still it's like, oh, it seems it's too washy. And unfortunately that's a detractor to the listener. So
yeah,
um, you know, at the end of the day, it's your song and it's subjective. And if you really like how it sounds, um, then by all means keep it. Like if you're doing music just for you to enjoy how it sounds, um, but yeah, like we're just coming from that other perspective of like, oh, sweet, Dom Rock's new song, like how is it? And then
yeah.
you know, fresh
And
ears. But
by the way, I can tell, like, I mean, with a lot of your stuff, it's obviously very unique, and there's a lot of recorded stuff and whatnot, and that takes a ton of work to do. And like we were saying, it's like an awesome song underneath, and all your stuff is.
yeah,
But it can be more difficult, I think, to accept like um the the difficulties of the production phase when the recording part is complicated already.
mhm,
I gotta redo the screen share.
mhm,
But it becomes uh like more of a mental hurdle to say, ah, fuck, I really don't want to go back and like spend a bunch of time doing more mixing stuff or reassessing because you've already sunk so much cost, right? It's like the sunk cost thing
mhm.
or whatever.
Fallacy.
Yeah, yeah, it is difficult. And again, it might take like stepping back and coming back to it, or just listening to stuff that you like, or things that you think are kind of similar,
Mhm.
and assessing from there.
Or get someone else to do it that you trust.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But cool. I think overall, I think I really like this track. I just can't wait to hear mix two, I guess, or whatever version you're on.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, as always, unique art from a unique artist.
really
Glad to have
cool.
you on our stream, man.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I'm at overall. What am I like? 79% between green and yellow. What do you have?
79.
I want to be different from your score, so I did
It's
something weird.
weird, but I feel like that's pretty accurate. But I won't give the
Damn.
same score.
All right.
Um, although I want to say like I was 78.
Do it. All right. Damn. Do you hear that, Dom? He's a hater, bro.
No.
1%
All
lower.
right, 79.1.
Damn. All right, I'm a bad
It's
guy.
just it's in that range. It's like it's mostly there. It's such a cool piece of art. And Echo is talking about um sort of mixing with references and people hearing stuff in playlists.
Mhm.
It's not even that. I mean, it's partly the reference aspect where people are used to, one sort of general landscape of sound. Um, but it's more so the fundamentals of how people perceive sound. I try to talk about that as much as possible. It's not just trying to sound like other people, but it's like the reason that most produced music sounds a certain way is because it hits on these integral parts of the human listening
Yeah,
experience.
it's like
And
how the human ear is built. It's
and
like
s yeah,
engineering.
psychoacoustics, like, again, I was talking about, like, if something has more bass, your brain thinks that it's probably closer to you, and so
Mhm.
that's a good way to make something that sounds immersive, and it's why so many mixes have such a consistent, solid, present bass these days. Because it's just the market has said, "We like stuff that feels full, it
Mhm.
feels close and surrounding and immersive." Um, and yeah, mastering is a whole science of all that stuff too, but
Yep.
yep.
You would mix a song for humans different than you would mix a song for bats.
Or for dogs, yeah, you just have, like, a
Yeah,
bunch of
exactly.
40 kilohertz in there.
Exactly. What, dog whistles? I don't know.
Yeah,
They hate that
exactly.
shit. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the next song. Appreciate you, Dom. Thank you very much for the tip. And Echo Emission, I believe you are next because you
Yes.
also tipped. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Um, let's see. And so I thought we got your submission, so appreciate you. So these guys, Dom Rocks and Echo, they heard that we have like a very long queue. We only typically go through 5 to 6 songs per stream. Um, and we have a queue of now like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and including so I thought 10 in the free queue. So if you guys need feedback immediately, you could do what Dom Rocks and Echo Emission did. Just send us a tip through the link. It's a $5 minimum. That way we can get to you guys definitely in the stream. In case any of your projects are very what is it, urgent. But yeah, so Echo, we'll go to theirs next because they gave us a tip, so appreciate you. The song's called Ritual. The description is: a sacrificial ritual gone wrong leaves the coven of witches dead, and the sacrifice's soul gets transported into an alternate dimension. What the hell, man? This is crazy. You
Whoa.
said you have visuals too. The soul fights through indescribable creatures to return to its physical form. Man, are we gonna get banned for showing this? Let's see.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's see. Echo, have you submitted to us before? I wonder. Let me see. But anyways, we'll go ahead and
I think
listen to
so.
it. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, Echo Mission Ritual 3, 2, 1. Whoa, I think I just noticed more faces.
I like that piano. Hmm.
I love all the Foley sounds. Whoa. Are those guns?
A lot of reverb on the drums.
Whoa.
Really cool sounds.
Unsettling.
There's a lot of reverb.
I feel like it fits though.
But there's also like some compression that's happening with the reverb, like it's going into a compressor or something.
It's like movie.
Whoa.
Whoa, that was cool.
I think there's a big reverb on everything on the master bus. That's my
On
suspicion.
the master bus?
Yeah.
Wow,
Again,
that's just
I feel like
melody,
there's a distance separation a little bit. There we go. That's got more presence now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Bro, it's so unique. What is happening?
I swear, it helps when it's a little bit drier because it makes those cuts more dramatic.
All over the place. Cool mission.
Oh,
Man, I wish I
it's like a movie trailer.
yeah, I wish I reread the description so I could follow a little bit.
Dude.
Original.
Again, really cool ending there.
Yeah. Wow.
Fuck.
That was like,
Sound design 101.
yeah, what is that? That's like I don't want to say musical theater. It's like
No,
it's like not music for a movie, but the music
cinematic. It is pretty
yeah, the
cinematic.
music was like the movie itself, like it told a story. Like that
Yeah.
was just interesting. I don't walk across
Oh,
that
he's
every
doing
other
granular synth.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Also, you said AI generated pictures. What did you use?
Really? Theatrical neurofunk. Where was the funk, bro? Okay, come on. I
Yeah.
could hear theatrical, I could hear neuro. Funk? I don't know. There's like war drums, a lot of war drums.
Oh
Mid
yeah,
journey.
for sure.
Um but
Whew.
yeah, that was just like a cool experience, man. Very unique.
Yeah.
Fast Track, we get a lot of different types of music. It's cool.
Yeah, man, it's sick.
But yeah, so vibes, what do you got?
That was a journey, man. A
Mhm.
real journey. Now, there was a very distinct change
Yep.
towards the end there where it got a lot more dramatic, but it also got less wet.
Mhm.
And that was a breath of fresh air. Um, I just think that like earlier on, I could hear all of the stuff underneath that giant, thick blanket reverb.
Mhm.
I could hear those things were good and they were like impactful, well mixed, and well placed. But again, I mean, literally, what reverb does in a slightly different way from bass is it provides the illusion of distance, and you can use that to your advantage when you want to create a sort of depth field, right? So you've got elements that are close up, things that are progressively a little further, and then further from that, and it's like the same psychoacoustic elements that you use: reverb, volume, and bass or high frequency sort of content balance. But when everything is underneath a big reverb umbrella, it's like taking the whole orchestra and just pushing it back 50 feet. And
Hmm.
it's like, why? Like, why do that? Like, I get that you want to have this sort of wash of reverb behind things, like a sort of background ambience, and that's totally cool. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense when it's on everything because you want some things to again punch through,
Yeah,
and
like the drums. I
like
wanted the wood drums.
especially the drums. Yeah, and like in the beginning, it was immediately apparent those drums were just too distanced and
Yep.
too much reverb. It's like reverb is if you can make a good mix with no reverb. It's very possible to do that.
Mhm.
And reverb should be thought of like seasoning. It's like
Yep.
putting salt or pepper on your dish. If you just cake it in way too much, it's like, yeah, the dish probably will be a little bit better with a little bit of salt, but
Mhm.
if you put too much on, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
It's all balance. Everything here. I mean, you could apply that to a lot of different areas, but especially with mixing and music, balance is what you need to go for.
Yeah. He
Um,
says it's probably accidental. I think it's combined reverb of all the elements.
Interesting. So,
Well,
well,
Thunder,
here's a
thank you
tip.
for the donation. Sorry.
Oh, we got another one?
Yeah, appreciate you.
Sweet.
Yeah. I saw it on the little stream. But anyways,
Oh,
um,
cool. Okay, so that'll be
I
the
think
next
that
one.
makes a lot of sense, what Echo was saying. It's a combined reverb of all the elements.
Yes, but a tip for that, if you aren't already, consider having
Plus,
one or two or three reverb buses that are
yep.
not they're their own separate tracks,
Mhm.
and you can have a short one, a medium one, and a long one, or whatever you want to call them. So you have a bit of a range to work with, right? And then you can put, anything that you don't want to sound super super duper dry in the short one. And what you're doing is you're using sends, right? You're sending, and you can choose how much you send to those buses. So like your kick drum part, you might want to send just a little bit, and so now it's again a parallel processing thing where the dry signal is coming through, but then there's also the wet signal. Versus like on a reverb that is on the track, you've got a wet dry knob usually, and that's going to attenuate the original signal and replace it with reverb.
Mhm.
Which if you have it set, to 50%, that's kind of dangerous. Like if half of your signal is reverb, and then if you do that across a lot of tracks, it also becomes really, really difficult to modify the amount of overall reverb that is
Mhm.
perceived on the track if it's in 17 different places or 30 or
FL stock
50.
reverb.
Yeah, you can use FL stock reverb, but the point is you just create a separate bus track
Yeah,
that you
this is a
use the
good tip.
sends. Yeah, that you use the sends to. Um, yeah, and it's great. Like a lot of these reverbs, they have lots of features, wet volume and dry, and all these things you can do. But it's the consolidation of your mix workflow that makes the biggest difference for then being able to play around with it and make modifications, and having one reverb that you can change the reverb model of
Mhm.
and have it apply to everything.
Yep.
And you will find huge differences by just changing the reverb preset. Like you might just like have everything sent to one, then you change to a different preset or different model, and suddenly your mix sounds like 10 times better.
Mhm.
There's big differences in what reverb you use as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, having that consolidation is key. It makes things a lot easier for you, and it can make dialing in the right amount of reverb on your track a lot easier.
Right. And like typically when you do a song, I feel like 99% of the time when you mix it that you want to have the instruments that do have reverb on them to be the same type of reverb. Like
Hmm.
you won't have like one crazy
Oh
weird
yeah,
preset for one but a crazy weird preset for another thing. So
yeah,
bus tracks is definitely a good thing and
right.
I'm glad that uh, Josh was able to give that to you because that I think is a very good tip. So
Just going back to the psychoacoustic
ads,
thing,
you're getting ads?
ads
Crazy.
on here. That's weird.
Yeah, we ain't getting paid over here. What the fuck?
Yeah, not that I know of. There's again the psychoacoustic element is like, um, oh fuck, I lost it. The ads thing, reverb. Uh, I forgot.
That's okay.
He'll come
What
back.
do you have for vibes?
I mean, it's very, very, very interesting and cool and unique and hard hitting and impactful.
Yeah,
There's definitely a journey throughout it. I think
yeah.
the journey could be improved in its sort of digestion, like with some reverb changes. The psychoacoustic part is that like it doesn't make sense for everything to be in a different room because effectively that's what reverb is doing. It's simulating reflections on different surfaces,
Hmm.
which is like a physical space. That's what that is.
Hmm.
If you're just in outer space and there's no like walls or anything, there is no reverb.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's dependent on physical reality, and if everything's in a different room, that's a weird picture to listen to, right? Like, why is the singer in a cathedral and then the band is in a bar and then the trumpets are outside? You know, like it's weird that if everything is in a different space. So it's about thinking conceptually. How can you make it so that things sound like they're in the same space? And well, the answer is sending them through the same reverb buses or reverb bus. Um, Again, it's like gluing your mix together, making things sound cohesive, like they're in the same place. But
You know what's funny? I have no reverb on the drums. See,
so
that's something that I was thinking. Like, um, what you might be able to do is perhaps, I mean, one, maybe the reverb is just too much that the drums are having a hard time punching through anyways. It's like there's like a blanket of reverb and like the
maybe
drums are trying to punch through, but it's just
possible, yeah.
on a
Uh,
blanket.
But
So
I
you could
really
try
wonder.
ducking the reverb perhaps as well when the drums come in.
The ducking, I wouldn't do the ducking. The ducking can get very hairy with reverb
For sure.
because unless it's like a really consistent, like four on the floor type thing or something that is predictable,
Yeah.
it can be very jarring to hear the reverb ducking in and out of the way.
Yeah. Well, maybe what
Address the root problem before you go to the fancy stuff. That's what I'd
yeah, I
say.
was gonna like so maybe just like an EQ. Like find where the drums are really punching through, like on their like what EQ band,
Hmm.
and then go to the reverb chain or the reverb bus and then just duck that part. That way the drums have like a little hole in the sheet to punch through, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
But I mean, I've definitely felt like I heard reverb that was triggered by the drums, like the tail of the drums.
Yeah, maybe it's part of the sample,
It could be part of the sample
especially
or
with
the
those war
generator
drums. Yeah.
or yeah, or whatever it is, and you can probably change that if it's one of those generators, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's
Yep.
reverb on the sample. I'd be curious to know how much there is, I guess,
Mhm.
using
What's up,
Cashmere.
Meadle?
So is that a sample pack or is that an actual like generator type
I
thing that
think
has
Cashmere's
parameters?
is I think Cashmere's a sample pack from Cymatics, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Echo? Let us know. But yeah.
Sample pack. Use I would recommend the Native Instruments stuff honestly because you can get very flexible with like the number of like doubles that you have. So if it sounds like it's just one like war drum or like a whole like bunch of them,
Mhm.
or like the reverbs and stuff like that, I just usually gravitate towards using sample instruments where they're using samples, but you can be flexible with how they're put together,
Yep.
and it becomes more unique that way because nobody else is probably using the sample in the exact same way that you are.
Right.
Um, but it's just flexible.
Mhm. But yeah, he's using samples, so you gotta work
But
with what you have, I
samples
guess.
are the easy way, so this is where we are. um, Interesting tip there. If you're using Ableton, you can try to reduce. Oh no, he's an FL,
Oh, okay.
so that might not apply.
Ambience preset in the multiband compressor. Oh, there's a preset in a multiband compressor that says reduce ambience. Maybe you could
Interesting.
try that. Yeah. Shout out Meadle. That's a new tip. But
Cool.
yeah, okay. Overall
Anyways,
vibes.
yeah, where were we?
Yeah, I think where that later section where it was really kind of in my face and like sounded, I feel like much more well mixed, less reverby. I think that was really cool. It was a really cool musical journey. Might have been a little bit confusing, say if I was listening to it without uh, the visual, because I think the visual helped a lot. But even then, like
Hmm.
I read the description, I'm not sure exactly what was happening. So uh, I don't know how you can make it maybe the story a little bit more easy to follow with somebody who's listening audio only. But otherwise, I think it was just really musically cool. A lot of cool sound design, a lot of cool sounds. Just interesting time. So I think overall, I'm at like 80% between green and yellow.
For vibes,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I could say the same. Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Oh, you have contact too. I think contact's one of those things that is really flexible.
Yeah, contact is a good one.
Um, content. What do you have for content?
Um, yeah, content. I mean, we kind of talked about it. I think like your arrangement's cool. It's engaging.
Mhm.
I don't really have a whole lot at this point on content. I think
Mhm.
I'd probably just say 90% because I do think like it's a little bit hard to tell how engaging it would be once mixed properly because I was kind of distracted a little bit by
Yeah.
like the amount of reverb, and that changes your perception. But
Mhm.
yeah, overall, really, really impressively put together. So props to
Yeah.
you.
I think I really like that strings and horn section that you had in the middle there. That was really cool. But now knowing with the description, uh, in the beginning you had a bunch of Foley sounds of like jars being like clanked and stuff. Like it sounded like a chemist, or in your case, like a witch was doing some sort of ritual thing. And like in your description, you said the witches die. So it's like when you came back at the end and you said like the soul comes back, the Foley sounds are back and they're like mixing bottles again. So I was like, wait, did the witches die, or like is he back to the beginning? So I don't know. There's like a confusion there. If I'm really trying to dive in deep here into
Yeah,
this
yeah,
this film, this movie film thing,
sure.
maybe it was just like I said, it was just a little less obvious. He's back to the ritual room. Yes. Okay. Um. So the ritual room, it was there. It was familiarity, but no vocals, hence no witches. Okay, I see. I was gonna say like, what point am I convinced that the witches were there? But okay, yeah. So yeah, I think content was pretty much cool. What did you have? Did you give a score?
Oh, I think I wasn't clear on who the. So I'm just reading the description. A sacrificial ritual gone wrong. What is
A
it? Leaves the
sacrificial
cove.
prank gone
So
wrong.
I didn't get that there was a separate entity doing the sacrificial ritual on
Yeah.
the witches. That was what was confusing. But yeah, I mean, wait, what did you say?
No, I
Score?
think yeah,
Oh, I
What's
already
the
gave
score?
it. Mine was 90 for content.
I'll put 85. And then production, we talked about a lot already. Um, I think for the most part, it sounds pretty cool. The granular synthesis is coming up with awesome sounds in the sound
Yeah, for
design.
real.
It's just that reverb thing. In the end, I think if you had it mixed like the in the end there, if you had it mixed like the rest of the time, I think it'd be pretty much good to go. But I'll put it as like 85
Hmm.
between green and yellow. What do you have?
Yeah, production. Again, I think the reverb thing is quite
Yeah.
distracting in the first 3 quarters.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end, it's like, yes, this is how it should be. Like those really impactful stabs and quick percussive parts, and like again, it's about like contrast and space. And when you have this super hard hitting thing that's not being washed out by reverb, and then like an immediate silence after it, and like it happens over and over, man, like that hits so hard and it's so engaging to listen to.
Mhm.
But if only that was earlier. Like if I was listening to this and I like didn't have to listen all the way through it, I may not. It's a long song. I may not have made it to that point because I'd be like, this is weirdly washed out by reverb or whatever. I can't like. It sounds strange.
Mhm.
But if that was towards the beginning, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, this person knows what the fuck they're doing. This is cool.
Mhm.
So that's the main thing. I think I would say for me, it's like a 65% between yellow and green for
Mhm.
production.
Fair, fair. Overall, I'm at like 75 between green and yellow.
Yeah, I would say yeah, 70.
There you go.
70.
But Echo Mission says, thanks guys. Have a look at the reverb and the ambiance. Yeah, try out that Metal music tip there. Reduce
Yeah.
ambiance. Maybe that could help you if you're using samples. But yeah, cool. Thank you for the submission. Thank you for the tip. We appreciate it. And then we
Yes,
have
yes.
what was it? Gundle, I think.
So, well, it's Turbo Beats. Is that uh so I thought?
Gunderland.
Hmm?
The person that tipped was Gunderland.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
And they didn't submit through our forum, so I think like when the alert came up on the
Oh.
stream, there was a SoundCloud link.
What?
So
Wait, where?
it
I'm
was like
confused.
as oh, you submitted through the forums. We don't have it. Did you? That's interesting. Are you so? I thought,
Your artist is your artist name Gunderland?
or you said Turbo Beats.
That's what PayPal says.
Yeah, but I don't. We don't see it in our form, like the submission form.
Yeah.
Um, you already tipped. I guess you could just
Oh,
put it in the
now
chat. But
it just showed up now. Did you just it says like 10 seconds ago it was submitted.
oh shit,
Oh,
I forgot to say.
okay.
All right,
Dope. We got it.
we got it. Yeah, yeah. California color. Cool.
We good.
Let's see.
Right. Got it pulled up.
California color. I feel like I've seen this image of this woman on on a like a type beat before. Have you
Hmm.
submit to us before? I don't know. Anyways, um, Where's the description here?
This might be
It says,
one of your women, Chris.
one of my women. What do you mean?
Kidding.
I
Like,
only have
where would
one
you?
woman for me. I don't know what you're talking about. If my girlfriend's
Okay,
watching,
maybe
please.
it's one of my women.
I see. I see. Well, women are not yours to own, Josh. Okay, it's 2022. Okay.
One of my friends that's a woman. Jesus.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. All right. He said, try out a new style. Usually make rap beats, but this one is a mix of trap and for some reason I can't view all of it. I think Josh just kicked me out. I guess
What the
the
form?
description. Yeah.
Oh no, you just got logged out. I think of Google. That's what
Sad.
it looks like.
Okay. Can you
Anyways,
finish the description? Yeah.
yes, halfway through. Trying out a new style. Usually make rap beats, but this one is a mix of trap and drum and bass. Still working on the mix.
Drum and bass and trap. Okay,
Cool.
that sounds interesting. All
Cool.
right.
Cool.
Let me see. Where is the track at? California Caller featuring Justron. Turbo Beats. You ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Hey Ron, if you're hearing this, I fucking hate you. And I just broke the windows of your brand new ride. Have a nice fucking life, you asshole. Oh,
Turbo. I feel like there needs to be more high end instead of.
You hear that sort of shh in the background?
Yes. I like the energy of the song. But
Yes.
I feel like it's like muddy. The vocal sounds far away.
I think the bass kind of sounds far away. The kick is great, but the bass and the notes sound like they're kind of farther away than everything.
I like this part. It's cool. It's not just like hyper pop.
No time to take, relax a little bit. Yeah, I'm a rich, I'm by myself for a bit. I don't know what to do about them girls. Hey, pretty bitch, ain't know she got them curls. I be with that bitch, I know she troll. Hey, moving all that dope, I know I'm cool. But I'm cooler, baby, I'm cooler. Baby, I'm cooler. Smoking on rude guy, baby, got rude guys. I got ruler, look at my ruler.
What is this guy talking about?
I am a ruler, smoking like Guavanese. Bitch, I'm a ruler. Yeah,
Now the bass sounds full.
It does, yeah.
And it's got that pumping, the side chaining.
Yeah.
This is the best sounding part of the mix. Why
Yeah,
is everyone
it
doing
is.
this?
It really is. It's the best sounding part of the last part. Why?
Uh-oh.
Take
Sorry,
whatever
guys.
you did in the end, put it in the beginning.
The share cut out in the last 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I'll get that back up. But, man. What the fuck, dude? Everyone's mix is sounding the best, like, right at the end? What is that about?
I'm trying to listen to it again, like just comparing the front and the back. I don't know. Maybe we got used to it.
Maybe. I also was kind of playing with my volume. I turned up a little higher than I wanted to because it wasn't quite loud enough, maybe. But it you can see on the
That's cool.
waveform, it's fatter at the end. It's definitely louder.
Debatable.
You can't see that? What do you mean?
Mine looks like pretty much the same.
You can't see on the screen how the last, like, from, what is that?
Did you share your screen?
From
brother?
225 on, it's, like, literally thicker.
It's Madison Beer. She's famous. Oh, I don't know who that is. Josh, your share screen isn't working. By the way.
I know, I'm adding it back up.
Okay. I don't know. When I look at the waveform, it looks like it's the same level, but
Bro,
See.
it's shapes. You can't see that? This part at
That's
the
why
end
I'm
here.
waiting for your
Oh, yeah, sorry.
screen share. Let's see.
Here, right where I have the, like, cursor.
Where's your cursor? I don't see it.
Well, right where I have this.
No,
Like,
yeah.
from right here. Here. You see how this is
Oh, I was comparing it to that first section, like
to
kind of one third of the way.
oh, no. I
Left,
was I
left,
was just talking
left.
about, like, right here is where I noticed it suddenly started sounding fuller.
Right, but
Here, I'll
I
play it. I can play it from there.
sure. He said, "I'm a ruler." Got Guapanese. So yeah, but like go to the beginning there, like
Where
one third of the way, maybe like one
like,
fourth.
here?
No, left, 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 left.
Here?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right there. Yeah, like,
I see what you mean, because this is, like, the chorus part or whatever, it gets louder
yeah,
each
yeah,
chorus. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
So I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe we got used to it.
I might have turned up a little bit before that because I was like, I was turning up, turning up, turning up. I was like, damn, how much do I need to turn up? And then I turned
Hmm.
up more.
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
turn up, anyways. Yeah, it does sound good when it's loud enough. I think it might be a little bit quiet or something.
Hmm.
Um, but overall, what are your thoughts?
Overall, I feel like it's like kind of hyper pop type. So I don't know. The end is my favorite part too. Well, I was like, well, maybe it's because it's somewhat mixed the best. I don't know, or you get used to it or something. The overall vibe that I have, I feel like it might be a little bit low end heavy, and low end kind of in the low mids. It kind of gives this muddy feeling to everything.
Hmm.
Um, and I wanted like much more of the high end to kind of pop out and be sparkly. Like that's kind of what I expect from like this kind of genre, this hyper pop kind of. I don't. I feel like it's barely DMB actually. It's you had a little bit of breaks near the end where it's like boot like that little rhythm, but most of the time it's just like four on the floor, boom 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 boom. So I'd like to hear much more. If I were to just like look at the master EQ, I'd like to have much more of the high ends come out. Um, that goes for the vocalist too. Like I feel like he was much more in the back than he needs to be. So I'd like to have him come in the front. The kind of stuff that he was talking about, like it was hard to understand him already, but also him behind everything, it was just kind of hard to listen to. But
I have some comments that might be a little different than that. I feel the same way that you do about those elements, but I think
yeah,
the reality of the way they're mixed is sort of deceiving.
sure, yeah, and that's why I cannot wait to hear what you have to say because I can only hear. I can hear what Josh hears, but I don't have like the tool set to kind of be like, this is why it's happening.
There's
So
like a strange interplay between the different elements here, I think, but we can get more into that
yeah,
then.
that's my overall vibes of it. I think you guys have a very good ear for melody and the chorus. It's really catchy. I can see this be like a TikTok song, kind of. Like it's got that kind of happy vibe to it and a very catchy kind of hook. So I think it's a good job. But there's something about the mix, like if both of us we had to turn up during the song, it's like already there needs to be some sort of engineering changes. Like ideally, you want it to be a seamless listening experience. You don't want us to have to adjust on our end. So that detracts from the score a little bit. Um, Overall, I think I'm at like 60% between green and yellow for vibes. What do you have? What's up, Bush?
What up? Oh, and by the way, folks, we've got time for one more track after this.
Yep.
Who would be so if in the free queue, the next one would be KVS.
Mhm.
But I see that there's some people who submitted today.
Mhm.
If you want to get reviewed right after this today, then send us a tip on there. $5 minimum. Otherwise, we will get to you when we can. We have like 9 or 10 people in the stream, I think,
Yeah.
still. So it would be in the free queue in like 2 weeks, realistically.
Yeah. In the
But
free queue, we have KVS, Seba, Balenci Baby, Corky, Zaug, Zeno Dubstep, Meadle, Prod by Dante, Young Bindi, and So I Thought, and then NA.
Philip Turner.
I didn't want to dox the guy, but
Well,
that was called Man of Mystery.
maybe his artist name is NA.
Yeah, maybe the what is it? We have like the magic number 11 people in the queue. We only get through like 5 to 6 songs um, in the queue, unless people delete shit. Then I think like today we got through a little bit more. So yeah, if you guys want to have your song like immediately reviewed, if you have like deadlines to meet, we get it, we understand. We just ask that. What we try to do is we try to get through all songs that submit to us. You know, there's a free kind of component of it, but if you really need it, just give us a tip, $5 minimum, and we'll put you right up next. So yeah. That being said, after this review, if we don't get any tip, we'll go to KBS. If we do get a tip, could be you. So,
Could
anyways,
be. So yeah, I
um,
mean,
back
were
to the
we on
turbo beats.
vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I agree. It's like it is a infectious song. It's like it's
Mhm,
good. But there's some interesting production stuff that's getting in the way of that, I think.
mhm,
I mean, vibes, I think, is affected by that. It's the whole kind of listening experience.
mhm,
Um, I would probably give it a 65% at this state.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I was around that same score. Um, what do
Between
you have for
yellow and green, but between develop and good to go for those who are new.
yeah, yeah. And between or for content, what do you have?
For content, again, I think it's structured fairly well. I won't say that it's my personal favorite style necessarily. Um, it's it's okay. It was fun to listen to. I just, as I'm thinking back to it, it feels a little bit sort of hyper, which I guess you could say it's like sort of hyper pop. That is
Hyperpop.
the first tag there.
Yep.
To each their own, but yeah, I don't know. It's for what it is. I think you've melded styles in a cool way, in a
Hmm.
fairly unique way. Um, so content, I don't really have a lot of specific complaints. I think I would just say like a 75, 80.
Yeah. Content. What do I have? I think I like pretty much everything that was going on content wise.
Oh,
I
did you
think
get any lyrics? Could you hear what was happening?
I heard him say like I'm a ruler, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna go get
Yeah,
a ruler, yeah, or
yeah.
something. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? He said it like four times. Um,
Are you a ruler,
I what does that
or are
mean?
you
Like,
a yardstick?
yeah, like what's happening? Are you a
Yeah,
ruler just in a field of yardsticks? Like what's happening?
yeah.
But
Or,
anyways,
or in your head.
yeah, I don't know. Like I talked about it earlier. This is more of a production tip, but um, just with this genre, the hyperpop genre, I feel like it needs to be much more brighter. That's like the most thing that I was just focused on. Um, the only thing I could really, or the first thing that I heard was just that bass and like the whole component of the bass, not just like the part that's interesting, but like this low mid muddy section that I guess doesn't really need to be fully occupied by the bass there. It's just that's what I heard the most of. So, um, whereas in this genre, I feel like it needs to be like bright, sparkly kind of sound, very auto tuned vocalist, which you have, but he's in the back. It should be in the front, you know? Um, then I could kind of give a little bit more nuanced score in terms of content because I'd like to hear what he's saying. I like to hear kind of the high synth melody stuff. From what I heard now, I feel like it seems pretty decent, but nothing is striking me as too memorable. And I really think that's from what I'm hearing, it's mostly production, which is kind of sad, right? Like you'd want me to be able to pick apart like the melodies and the high synths, you know. So I can't really give a unbiased or not unbiased, but a nuanced score and content. But I would say it's like it's pretty decent, like 70 between green and yellow.
Dope.
Um, and production, what do you have?
Yeah, production.
Oh, we
So
talked about it, but yeah, I want to hear what you
what
think.
I'm hearing is definitely some clashing, but I think more of the clashing is in the just mids and the upper mids even. And
Hmm.
there's also that weird like staticky sounding background part. Let me
Have a nice fucking life, you asshole.
like what is that? Like it's being sidechained a little bit at the beginning there, but
Kind
there's
of like
like
a white
this.
noise. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very prevalent and it's just like why? I mean, you could probably have some of that to add some texture, right? But if you have more of it, it's like you have a cable halfway unplugged. It's like it doesn't. I don't think it quite adds as much as it confuses.
Hmm.
Um, it's literally it's noise, right? So maybe some of it tastefully, but I think it's kind of getting in the way a little bit. And then like the issue of the low mids thing, I think what's actually happening is the bass um, may have like mostly be concentrated in the sub bass region, or it's like actually too low, where you don't have enough in the sort of root note fundamental area as well as the beater frequency or whatever you'd call it, the attack, right?
Mhm.
It makes your bass will sound less defined and more muddy if you don't have enough of a defined attack frequency, pretty much. And it's partly like the envelope of the note, but it's also the EQing to make sure that there's some high mid or some high or whatever that adds that feel of definition. That's again could get into the psychoacoustics of like physical objects, why they make sounds like the way they do, but that is important for being able to pick out where the note is and all sorts of other definition related aspects. So that's the main thing. And then just overall, I think there's like, I don't know, your vocals clashing with other instruments in the harmonic space, right? Like chordal instruments and whatnot, and just samples in the mids. And you have to either like eliminate shit that you don't need, right? See what it sounds like without stuff. But also EQing things so they don't clash. Changing some of the samples or the composition of certain things so that, again, they don't clash. It's just like it can be tempting to add more and more and more. But if each decision isn't the right decision, it will actually reduce the quality of your output. Things will just fight each other. So it's always like you should be really intentional about what you add to your mix, not let things get overcrowded and such. So yeah, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's doing it. You really need to solo stuff out and like see if it becomes less crowded when something is not playing. If that's the case, either eliminate it, turn it down, or EQ it so that it doesn't clash, or
Mhm.
make some adjustment. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of buildup in the low mids. I heard muddiness in the intelligibility of everything, which is
Mhm.
high mids and mids.
Mhm.
And that bass part doesn't sound like it has enough definition because of the way it's EQ'd or the attack of the instrument itself, paired with the fact that it's mostly in the very low bass region or the sub bass and not enough in the sort of solid bass fundamental note region, like
Mhm.
the above 100 hertz or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's as far as I can diagnose here. There's a lot going on. It's hard to pick it apart really detailed,
It
but
really is, yeah.
those might be some things to start looking at.
Mhm. Good tips here, Gunderlin. What do you think about the vocal production?
Yeah, again, I'm not sure if it's just being occluded by other things
Hmm.
or if there's something weird going on. I mean, it does sound very processed. There's
Hmm.
something a little strange going on where is there like an octave on it or something?
Yeah, I like to hear that signal dry just so I could diagnose it.
There's
No,
something sounding a little bit crushed, is
yeah,
what I would say.
recording, almost like a bit crusher.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's hard to
but
say. I
yeah,
mean, again, I think it's a case of like going overboard on the amount of stuff that you have in the song and the way that things are being processed. Like, it's so tempting to try to make things sound better by just doing as many things as you can to stuff, but you have to like stick to one thing or know what you're going for and like try not to overcomplicate, I guess.
yeah, and just yeah, exactly. Like know what you're gonna highlight, and then like do that for each instrument. Like, okay, where does this instrument really need to pop out, right?
Mhm.
And Josh said before, like a lot of this is a subtractive process, not an additive process. Like
Yeah.
instead of like, oh, I really want the bass to like pop out here, I'm gonna boost it. No, 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 no. It's I'm gonna duck everything else in this bass.
Or I'm going to get rid of the frequencies that aren't needed in the bass, and you would be
Exactly.
fucking surprised how much better that bass will sound, how much more impactful with actually less content in it.
Yeah, and if you get rid of that all that frequency space, you make room for the stuff that takes up that frequency space. So for the bass, for example, if you take away all of its highs, um, that allows the places in the highs, like what I was saying, is lacking, like the vocals, for example, or the high synths. That gives them more room to actually occupy in the mix. And when you push up, when you're mastering or limiting, like that'll all get pushed up too. It won't push up this useless part of the bass that just ends up muddying everything up. So I would try that kind of subtractive approach when you're mixing on this next version. But um, production, I feel like for me personally, it's one of the more the biggest issues of this track. So I'm at like maybe 25 between green and yellow. I think there's a lot of work to be done here. Um, but I think the song's pretty catchy, so you should definitely work on it. What do you have?
Honestly, I mean, I'm maybe very slightly more optimistic about it. I think a lot of the elements are actually pretty well recorded and like
Mhm.
well put together and whatnot, but Yeah, streamlining and simplifying is super important here. I'll give it a 30% between develop and good to go
Yeah. That was for and we already
for
gave
production.
yeah. Overall, that puts me at like 55, 60 between green and yellow.
Yeah, for me, I would say 50% between yellow and green.
There you go. My phone is blowing up here. But yeah, Gunderland, thank you very much. Let us. We'll have to see if you submitted. Have you submitted to us before? If not, thank you very much for the tip. We appreciate it. Hopefully, this helps. Feel free to come back if you want to shoot us another mix of this song or like a new song. We'd love to hear the kind of growth and how you take our feedback. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
cool.
Cool. Thanks for submitting. We've got another one here. We've got well, NA. I don't know if we're allowed to say your name or not.
Yeah,
And Bushloft.
Bushloft.
And if anybody wants to be reviewed today, I can check again. I don't think we got another tip, but this is the last track that we're gonna get to. If you want to tip, we will do yours now. Otherwise, it will be in a couple of weeks, just based on the number of submissions that we have.
Mhm.
So it's up to you. If you want to skip the
Yeah.
line and get reviewed right now, then go for it. Oh, my thing didn't go through. Do you want to send it in the Twitch chat?
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't know why it didn't work.
Appreciate you, Gunderland. Glad that you could take away something from it. Submit is there. Sorry, the tip link to skip the queue is tip. Otherwise, we'll be doing KVS.
Yes. So if anybody wants to do that, if you submitted, let us know in the chat now if you're gonna do it, so we have time. Otherwise, we will go to the next free one.
Yeah, it'll be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 0. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go to
So
KVS.
yes, we'll go to KVS.
All right, let's see. KVS says it's a finished release. The idea was to get more creative than a generic EDM drop. Okay, interesting. Let's see. KVS and Lacey, Far From You. All right, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. That vocal, very like muffled.
It's
I'm too far, far enough.
I think it's the vocal tone.
Far from you,
I think it's
far from you. I can't
Sibilance shifted.
deny. I need your
Or not sibilance.
smile. Need me too. Do you want
It was
me
just a
to?
filter, I think.
I've been trying to find a way
Nice
out
clean mix.
there.
That melody is a little too far forward.
I miss you what you used to do, but you take me too far
The bass sounds a little artificial to me.
It's all just like really kind of dry.
Also, a weird filter on this lead instrument. It sounds like boxy or something.
Right.
I feel like you are mine, but then you go.
I would argue too much meter noise on the kick, just a little bit. It makes
I
it
hear
sound kind of fake, kind of plasticky.
You say you need my touch, but you're gone.
I like those little brushes.
You've been running around for too many times. I know that you like to tell me lies.
Vocal is pretty good.
Were you thinking of Foreman shifting?
Foreman, that's what I was thinking. I like it.
You take me too far away. 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 You take me too far away.
Cool. KVS and Lacey. It was Lacey the vocalist? Far From You.
Dope, dude. What a
yeah.
fucking nice groove there.
Yeah, that really was. What do you have for first impression and vibe?
Man, this is like it gives me the essence of like professionalism. Like it
Mhm.
sounds like it's something that could be out there in the pop, playlists and
Yep,
whatnot.
yep.
Um, there's just it's really like a couple of I would say fairly minor things, but noticeable ones with again production. I think the song structure is fine. It's pretty short for a pop song, but that's fine. It's in a good range. Um, it's engaging. I don't know. I don't really have any complaints about the writing or the arrangement. It's really just the production choices. So I think just vibes, just isolating to that, I would say probably like 80% between yellow and green.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of the tips that we have like during that live listen, I think that's what you should go off of KVS. By the way, I think I agree with everything that Josh was saying. Um, but yeah, I do think this also has a very clean kind of professional sound to it. Um, but a lot of the sounds Josh was saying like, oh, it sounds fake or boxy. I think that could be applied to almost everything I heard in there. Like
Yeah, I did hear a
the
lot of that.
yeah, the very beginning, that vocal, it was formant shifted. That's what I was looking for,
Mm.
which was fine. Like throughout the rest of the song, I thought it sounded great. Like
Is the whole thing, do you think, format shifted?
I think so. That's what
It
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 sounds like.
almost sounds like the effect you get when somebody is trying to give an interview anonymously and there's like all
Mhm.
sorts of shifting on their voice.
Yep, yep, yeah,
Well, I wasn't there at the time, but
yeah,
I saw somebody get shot on the street.
yep,
Like,
yep, yep. That's what I heard too, and I think it was worked like for the vocal. It sounded pretty great throughout the whole part of the song. When the main stuff came in outside of that intro, it sounded clear, it sounded crisp, it sounded really nice. In the beginning, it literally sounded like, it was just like I was
which
singing into a sock or
I've
something.
heard that before though at the beginning of songs where you do all sorts of shifting and stuff to make the voice almost more like an instrument and you
Yeah,
make it very ethereal and vibey and stuff. But I think it
right.
was on the way to that and I don't know if you were going to touch on this, but for once today, I almost felt like there was not enough reverb or
Mhm.
like or
Yeah.
maybe it's even just like I think a lot of these pop songs have like one, maybe two subtle background ambience effects, like something going on behind the scene to keep some sort of motion,
Hmm.
like contrary motion almost going.
Hmm.
And I didn't hear that here. It was like it's like what is missing? There's like one thing, like a subtle thing that's missing, and it might be those ambient sort of background effects that are usually in a lot of these pop mixes to some extent,
Yeah, yeah.
even if they're
Like
mixed
some
very
white noise
low.
sweeps or something.
Yeah, just something to sort of keep it. I don't know, make it not feel empty or something.
Yep, yep, I agree. That's what I feel like, what we were saying is, like, the mix itself just kinda sound pretty dry, which is interesting. It made it sound really clean,
Yeah,
it made us able to pick apart a lot of stuff, but
yeah, which
there
is
wasn't
good.
this there wasn't this nice glimmer, over the mix, and it's subtle, man, like, we've talked a lot
Yeah,
about today of people putting blankets of reverb, and it's not good, but now what you really need is just, like, thin silk
a
sheet that just
subtle
gives
little, yeah, like
some sparkle,
some
you know?
wisp.
Yeah, some wisp in the wind. But yeah, so um, yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that I think in general it sounds pretty clean mixed. It sounds borderline professional, but there are just some things like here and there, like oh, this melody um, has like this weird boxy filter on it. If you could just like tweak that a little bit, let the highs pop out a little bit more, um, or this melody's too forward, like push it back a little bit, on volume. Um, and then add maybe just like some shimmery effects to the overall track. Some shimmery reverbs or something, or maybe even like some white noise stuff that's happening in the background that's just to fill out the spaces that you have. I think overall the mix is pretty clean and everything is very catchy. Every melody that I heard was really nice. So yeah, good kind of poppy sound. Um, kind of enjoyed the listen all the way through. Overall, I put it at like 80% between green and yellow for
For
vibes.
reps, yeah.
Yeah, content. What do you have?
I don't really have a lot of like complaints for content. I think I like a lot of the writing and stuff, and it's it sounds like it should.
Yep.
Content, I'd probably just say green.
Yeah. I don't remember much of the the vocals. It just sounds like a pop song to me. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's true.
Um,
Maybe like a part where things kind of like swoop out a little bit more and then it comes back into a drop that's a little more dramatic. Maybe that would be nice. It kind of felt like it was just kind of going the whole time
yep.
to give space, sort of a rhythmic break, like a dynamic break that then you reintroduce the hard hitting part. That's always it's a good pop trick to use or for any song really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess that's my only. It's like subjective. It's like, oh, I wish there was something that made it a little stand out a little bit more content wise. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was a good listen. Like
Yeah.
90% green and yellow.
Yeah.
Production. We talked about it a little bit. What do you have?
A little bit. I mean, so just more specific things. There's like a key like melody part that comes in towards the beginning that's just obviously too loud. It's just in front of everything. It's like in front of the vocal. It's in front of the instrument. It's just turn the fader down. It's
Yeah.
pretty simple. Um, and then yeah, like there's the other elements we talked about with reverb. I mentioned while we were listening, the beater noise of the
Yep.
kick sounds really artificial. If you overdo it with the beater noise, which again, kind of the opposite of what we've been hearing lately,
Hmm.
it starts to sound kind of toy like or like fake.
Hmm.
It's
Boxy.
like, yeah, there's something about that, just again, balance. And I thought the bass had a similar effect where it was like you're
Yep.
trying to make things so crisp, but if you overdo it, you're doing it like more so than the pros do it, and then it sounds like weird in a different way. It's very well defined. Like you've crossed the threshold of being well defined long ago. Now it's just altering the timbre of the instrument.
Hmm.
That's the important thing is like you want to get that definition, the sort of psychoacoustic effect of something that hits hard without altering the timbre of the instrument too much so that it sounds unnatural. That's what it is. If you make any really drastic EQ on almost any instrument, you risk it starting to sound unnatural.
Hmm.
So yeah, something to look out there. But
It's like too much clarity.
it's not even clarity. It's like once you get past a certain point, you almost can't get like more clarity, but it really starts to affect the balance of again the timbre of like the instrument. Your brain's trying to figure out like what material is being hit here, like how is
Mhm.
it producing this sound? And if it sounds totally impossible, your brain's going to throw signals like that doesn't sound quite right. It sounds
Yep.
kind of weird.
That's kind of quote unquote fake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fake tits. What?
Damn. All right, Josh. Bro.
Anyways, getting towards the end of the stream here.
Yeah. All right.
um, yeah, I don't think I have a lot. I mean, we mostly talked about the other production issues. I think it's
Mhm.
pretty clear. Score. Well, I'll let you. Do you have any other production stuff?
No, I think I kind of said in the beginning, like I feel like that live listen, like that's where our production stuff is. It was literally like, oh, this is too loud, this is too boxy. Uh, there's just kind of like a empty feeling in the mix. There's a this bass sounds kind of fake. This beater noise too much. I feel like that's the bulk of
Subtle
it.
things. Yeah.
It's all yeah. It's all literally like. Luckily, it's like there wasn't anything like, man, what is happening here? Like that's shrouding everything. Like
No, it makes
we
it
couldn't
so
pinpoint.
much easier when there's not
Yeah,
clashing,
a
which
clean mix
there
is nice.
isn't much of. Wow, it helps a lot. It makes your life easier in making corrections too.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? Like we did have a lot of like, oh, like just like a laundry list of yeah, do this, do this, do this. But that's the benefit of like having a very clean mix, and that's why we are saying, oh, this sounds like it's kind of professional, like
Yeah, it's way
you know.
easier to assess things in that way too, like and that's why I think it's so important for people to check the complexity of their mix throughout the creation of it, because it's better to start out with something that isn't quite enough or whatever, and then sort of refine it, than to have something that's so complex it can't be assessed even. Like,
Mhm.
it's often difficult for us to say what is wrong with a mix when there's just a lot of clashing going on because there's, like, physical, like, audio masking happening between the instruments where we couldn't hear them if we wanted to.
Mhm.
So, yeah, always, like, lean towards the side of simplicity and clarity and definition, and then correct if you need to
Oh,
after that.
somebody's here.
Oh.
Yeah. Shall we end the stream? I
I
think we're
think
pretty much there.
I think we can. Did you give a
Yeah.
score for production?
Production, I would give this like a 75 to 80. It's almost there.
Yeah. I would say the
There's
same.
obvious changes.
I'd
Yeah.
say 75 maybe.
Yeah.
And then track total, what do you think?
80.
80. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say 75 also, just because I think like there's maybe a couple things you could do to make it a more unique pop song, perhaps.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and I do think some of those production things get in the way just a little bit, but it is really good. I'll give you that.
Yeah. The the screen share just
I
died.
don't know what's going on today. Maybe it's Saturday and more people are on the internet. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but anyways, that's probably Q software. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate
Yes.
all the submissions. Sorry we couldn't get through all of it. Thank you for the people that gave us a tip. Um, we have for the next time. Oh, KVS is done. Seba, Balenci Baby, Corky, Zaug, Xeno Dubstep, Meadle, Prod by Dante, Young Bindi. So I thought N.A. Bushlop, 11. Once again, the magic number, I guess. We thought that we
Sweet.
could get this queue down, but nope.
But y'all keep sending
Consistent.
music, so
Yeah, and keep sending more. We love listening to it.
yeah,
So
love to hear it.
cool.
Cool. All
Appreciate you
right.
guys.
Well, again, thanks everyone. We will be back on Fridays at a regular time, 5:30 Central. Um, Follow us on Instagram. That's where most of our stuff happens. We'll have more happening there shortly, so keep
Yeah.
updated for that. Join Discord. Again, we've been having some activity there, more people joining. Feel free to do that. There's a Linktree link on our Instagram that you can find the Discord there, or I think there's a chat command for that as well. And follow us on Twitch so you hear when we go live, and come back and send us more music.
Yeet.
Love to hear it.
Appreciate you guys.
Dope.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon.
Peace, peace.